Okay, we're going to call to order the 36th session of the Pontiac Charter Revision Commission special meeting. Roll call.
Commissioner Burrows, Garrett, Killian,
Present.
Payne,
Present.
Ramsey,
Here.
Stewart, Turpin,
Here.
Williams,
Present.
Ibarra. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Is there a motion to authorize to excuse Commissioners Stewart and Garrett? Ibarra is, I'm gonna say all of them, and then if they come, so Stewart, Ibarra, and Garrett.
Moved.
It's been moved by Williams and supported by Killian to excuse Garrett, Stewart, and Ibarra. Roll call.
Commissioner Killian,
Yes.
Payne, Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin, Williams, Burrows. 6 yeas.
Thank you. Amendments to the agenda. No amendments. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as is?
I move it.
It's been moved by Williams and supported by Turpin to approve the agenda as is. Roll call.
Commissioner Killian,
Yes.
Payne, Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin, Williams,
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes for meeting on April 14th, 2024?
Moved. Support.
It's been moved by Williams and supported by Killian to approve the minutes for meeting April 14th, 2024. Roll call.
Commissioner Payne, Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin, Williams,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Thank you. Public comment? One comment. Thank you, Ms. Clark.
Okay. Is that better? Okay. Sorry, guys. I actually have a question about the charter that needs clarity, and I have spoken to a couple of people about it concerning they have tried to help me to understand, but I still don't have an understanding, a very good clarity of it, even though the charter has been put on the budget. The word proposal is actually baffling me because proposal means to put forth of something that you want to put in writing and you want approval of. But if the residents vote on this charter, then it's not a proposal. Should it not be? And again, I respect the people that's tried to help me to understand, but it still doesn't add up to me. Should this be put as an overall or an amend charter opposed to a proposed charter, which is one of my questions that's being asked. And another thing too, charters legally cannot be changed. They can be amended, they can be added on with an amendment, but never change. It's a standard charter. So with that being said, wouldn't it be feasible for you guys to introduce to the public an amendment and not a replacement? And those are my two concerns.
Thank you. All right, discussion on the budget. Commissioner Williams.
I would like a point of privilege to answer Ms. Clark's questions, if the chair will allow.
Go right ahead.
The first question you asked, Ms. Clark, is about 3 years ago, almost to today's date, the citizens of Pontiac voted on a charter revision commission. By state law, it has to be called a proposed charter because even though we made not as many changes as I would have hoped for, it is still a new charter and not an amendment. And so to put an amendment on the ballot, it has to be minor in scope. One of the amendments that were made to the previous charter was about minimum manning, which dealt with the fire department that was already there. It didn't establish a fire department. It didn't establish a new form of government. It was just an amendment. Another amendment that we had was we changed the date in which the mayor had to present the budget and when it went on the actual tax rolls of the citizens. So those were two amendments that have been made since 1982. But overall, there's been less than 10 amendments to the whole charter in the last 41 years. And so the charter definitely needs to be updated to be brought into the 21st century. And so the language is, this is a proposed charter, and when the citizens vote yes or no on it, it will determine if that becomes the new charter. So if it's approved by the citizens, it will then be the charter that we go from. So it will be the Pontiac City Charter of 2025 is what it will be. Right now, our current charter says the Pontiac City Charter of 1982. And so that is the major difference. And so it's a legality in calling it proposal. I understand that it makes sense to say that we're amending because we did keep a lot of the original charter, but for the sake of legal ramifications, it's not an amendment. It's a revisal. And so we spent the last 3 years doing that. And so that's the technical reason that it's called a proposed charter, because this is not the same charter from 1982. It's been modified significantly more than just one or two amendments. And so that, I hope that answers your question, but I want to kind of give you that clarity. And when the citizens voted on the Charter Revision Commission, it gave us 3 years to come up with a new charter. Even if we didn't change anything in the old charter, it still would be incumbent upon us to put a new charter before the people of Pontiac. That's not called an amendment, but called a proposed charter.
Thank you. All right, so now we are moving back to the discussion on the budget. I'm now hand that over to Commissioner Williams as well.
Good evening, everybody. Okay, sounds good. So we still have some money in our budget that we recommended for the last year. As you know, we had about $15,000 in training. We had some money in postage, which we haven't sent out any mailers. We had some money in some other things that we haven't spent out. But all of that money needs to be allocated by the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th. And that's why we're having a special meeting today, because we have to decide as a commission if we're going to allocate that money and what we're going to allocate that money for. Every line item does not have to be there, but we do need approval to do these things. One of the things that I am proposing is...
Hold on, before you go into that. So does everybody understand what Commissioner Williams just said? So the 2022 to 2023 budget, we still have money in the bank that we want to reallocate to some things that we need in order to do education and outreach for the charter. So this is about the money that we currently have that we haven't used the way we thought we would, and we want to reallocate it. Everybody good with that? All right, go ahead. Who? Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Payne.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the balance of the budget.
He was about to go over that. I just wanted to make sure people knew where the money was coming from.
Okay, I thought he went over some numbers. And do we have a copy? No copies anywhere?
Well, you should have it in the handouts we had because it's this year's budget, the 2022-2023 budget. So all Commissioner Williams is doing is talking about reallocating that money. So the clerk will make copies of it. Thank you.
Okay. When Ms. Sheila comes back with the copies, then we can kind of go over it in more detail. But the total budget is under $40,000. We have been very frugal as a charter commission. We've only had 2 lunches, and I think that total maybe $100 altogether.
That's all they're giving.
That's all, but that is what's happened with it. So the urgency behind the information is the citizens need to know about the charter, and many of them have a whole lot of questions. Absentee ballots go out June 27th of this year. Let me say that again. June 27th of this year. So, and there's Jose. So, Madam Chair, I would like to yield and let Jose talk about some marketing until she comes back with the budget so everybody can see it.
Okay. Go ahead, get situated. While we wait on him, waiting on her, can you talk about some of the things that you think?
So I went and spoke along with Commissioner Killian at the world-renowned Golden Opportunity Club, and they had about 150 seniors there who were very engaged. And one of the things they asked for was 1982 budget with our proposed 2025 budget basically side by side so they could see the changes from the 1982 to the 2025 budget.
Or the budget or the charter?
I mean the charter. You got me talking about budgets. Okay. But the charter, they wanted to see the original charter in 1982 versus the updated changes that we made to our proposed charter that is happening in 2025, so they could kind of look at some of the major points side by side with it being redlined. I know we have a red line version, but the general public does not have a red line version. So maybe getting some large font printed red line charters for them might be something good. Also, we need to probably send out a mailer just to all the residents informing them that there is a vote on the charter in August and not on the November ballot. So those are 2 big things that need to happen. Then the third thing.
Hold on one second. Mailer to every household, right?
Right, every household.
Okay.
And then the third piece would be having that first mailer to every household.
Oh, go ahead.
And then having a follow-up postcard closer to the actual election for people who do not vote absentee. So the absentee ballots go out on June 27th. So having a mailer sent out to every home around that June 27th deadline, I think is very important for us to inform the people so they can make a wise choice on the charter. And then also, there needs to be a budget allocation for any community events that we're going to have in regards to letting people know about the charter and informing them. Because one of the things that many of the commissioners said when they started was we wanted to make sure that the public knew about what was going on, and before they voted, we need to have those events and other things in order to do it. So just to go over and reiterate the 4 things that I need to happen, and please add to the list. This is just what I've been thinking. First thing, large print, red lined charter so people can see the difference between the 2. And then second thing, mailer to every household, informing them that there is an election on the charter and major changes to our proposed charter. 3, follow-up postcard. And then 4, community events.
Thank you. So I have the red line version of the charter, large font, a mailer to every household in June. when the absentee ballots go out, mail a reminder in July for people who are voting in person, and then money for community events. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so if you see at the bottom of page 4/77, you see the Charter Commission. So the wages and salary would be our beautiful Madam Deputy Clerk over there. So the salary, the FICA, the medical insurance, the optical and hearing and life insurance, all of these things, and the MERS, all of that is for the clerk. Well, where's the rest of it? Oh, here we go. On the second page, underneath. So we have post office supplies, postage, legal services, other professional services, printing and binding services, public notice, and training expenses.
Yeah, I don't even know why they have city events under us, which is interesting. But that's neither here nor there.
So where do you see city events at?
Yeah, that's not right. But this is their budget, so but it's got nothing to do with us. City events is 101,171,745.003.
Ain't that under the mayor department though? Yeah, so you have the city council department, and then ours, and then the mayor.
Okay.
It was confusing. That's why I was like, I didn't see some of the stuff.
Yeah, no, it's here right
It
here.
is.
So
It's at the very top. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the bottom.
yes.
So it's the last 7. Office supplies to training expenses.
Right. So if you look at it, if we want to go through, we can start off at office supplies because we haven't used any. We got 2,500.
Yep.
Postage, we got 10,000. Then we have 25,000 from legal expenses minus that 12,800. That was for Attorney Chris.
Okay, hold on. So we had 25,000, and we gonna subtract 12,800. So we have $12,200 left.
Okay. Then we have, for other professional services, we used $199. So we should have
7801.
7801. We haven't done any printing, so that's $10,000 that we have. Then we got public notices. We haven't spent anything on that. That's 2,500. And then we have 15,000 for training that never happened. So let me just.
Can we get bonuses? And you didn't say that. Now they're gonna be talking about we embezzling up here. That's Commissioner Norbert Burrows.
We wanted all the money to be split.
Question.
Hold on,
Go
I'm
ahead.
just adding this up. Ms.
Oh,
Lane.
hold on 1 second.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure
We have the accurate number.
before. No, that's I got $50,001.
We need multiple people to do this.
Maybe I did something wrong. Oh no, I took the 25. That's what I did wrong. So now let's redo that.
All right, I got something.
What'd you get?
No, I want to know.
No, what'd you get? What'd you get?
What'd you get? Are you adding this up, Commissioner Turpin? Okay, let me tell y'all the numbers. 2,500 plus 10,000 plus 12,200. 24,200. We got to have. No, we got to have exact numbers here. 7,801. 10,000. 2,500 and 1,500. 15,000. Thank you. What you get?
Just confirm that first number was 2,500, correct?
Yes.
Then I have $52,278.
Okay. We're gonna do it again. All right. Everybody, get your calculators out. 2,500. 10,000. 12,200. 7,801. 10,000. 2,500 and 15,000.
60,000.
Right here, because that's what I got. No.
I got $60,001.
That's what we got. Okay, so we got three of us. We gonna go with that. Praise God.
Yep, I wasn't counting that first postage.
Okay, so we have $60,001 to reallocate. And Commissioner Williams has given us some topics, some items. So a red line version of the charter. I think that's about 80 pages front and back in color. What? I looked at it. It might be less pages, but that's what I think it is. But large font. So just think about like a little booklet. So, and how many are you proposing of those, Commissioner Williams?
I think we need
60 pages.
Technically 58.
58. All right. Thank you.
So I'm proposing at least 2,500 of those, so people can pick them up at City Hall, and we can also disperse them to some of our seasoned citizens.
All right. We also learned that for the mailers, the city currently has a contract with the print shop.
The original print
The
shop.
original print shop, and in order for us to not have to do bids and do all of that stuff, we should just use them. The clerk already uses them for mailers, so they already have the number of households we need for the city of Pontiac. The only thing we would have to do is to work with Jason Bauer on the actual product, the actual mailer that would go out. And we want to do that twice. I believe the last time we checked, how many doors? I think it was
22,000.
22,000 doors in the city of Pontiac. So that would be, we would do mailers 44,000 times. So it would be twice. We would do it twice. And then the community events. What items are you proposing that we need for the community events?
So what I learned today at the conference is a meeting without food is just an email. So I'm suggesting that we have food at these events. I think we also probably need to have some form of childcare and some kind of fun activity in order to do that. I think we also need to have big poster board of what the charter kind of is with the highlines in it, especially like our code of ethics and stuff that are brand new to the charter, so people can see those bullet points. So like really blown up. So I'm thinking a charrette. So we need to be able to have charrettes at these community events.
All right, does anyone else have any thoughts or comments about items that we would need at the community events, or items for any of the things that were named, or things outside of what was already named? Ibarra?
Also, if Taj can come up to this meeting to help set up the laptop, just so I can show some examples. Tried logging in myself. But I did want to present at some point. I'll just give you guys the details right now. I have been working on a couple of documents. The first one I would say would be the charter before and after. That is alone is a long document that consists of all of the information of the 1984 charter to the proposed revised charter that we have today. Once again, that is a lengthy before and after, but it does entail every subject from the 1982, which would be before, and then the revised charter, which shows all the updates that consist in each section. So each section is broken down with that before and after. What we built off of that.
Can I ask a question right quick? Would that be like a cheat sheet? Because what Commissioner Williams heard was that people need the actual charter, the 1982 with the red line, but this is, I'm looking at it like a cheat sheet. So it's pretty much like what Commissioner Williams is asking for, but more in like a spreadsheet?
It's more so, it's the full information of each document, and it's each document compared to, comparing each other to each category. So
will we need both of them? Yes, yes.
So that document is 64 pages. I'm sure it'll be condensed front and back. Okay. So that would be 32 pages front and back. But that does show every subject, every section from the preamble to the very last article in each charter, and it also shows the expansion of each section as well. What we build off of that was the top 10 key highlights in the Pontiac Charter revision. So that's more of a 3-pager. Are you presenting the document? I can do that right now. Bear with me a few moments. Yeah. Do you have your document? It's on Google. I'll just log in.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
so I guess it would be too late, is it, because one of the things that we had discussed in the outreach program is to have copies made for the 7 districts, a certain number of copies, and to present that those copies to the residents, and with the, of course, the speaker going over it with the different districts.
So I think that's what Commissioner Williams was saying when he said make a copy of 2,500 of the charters, the 1982 with all the changes. So I think that was, but I also think Commissioner Ibarra has the comparison sheet as well that we can use. So we'll have both of those available to do just that.
Okay.
Do you think we need more than, through the chair, do you think we need more than 2,500, Commissioner Payne? How many, what's the number? Because I'm not married to the 2,500.
Well, we didn't really get that far because there was a few that decided that we didn't need to make copies because that was going to cost money. But when you're presenting, you have to have copies for individuals to actually view and go along with you. I mean, I wouldn't want anyone presenting to me without going along. But from the way that meetings have been going lately in the city, I mean, there have been some really very important meetings that have been called, and we haven't had a good outcome I think we need to explore what ways that we can truly reach individuals in regards to that.
You're saying in regards just like general outreach?
Right.
Okay. So, but back to Commissioner Williams' question, do you believe 2,500 copies is enough, or do you think we need more?
I don't think we need more.
Okay, so that should be enough. So I'm thinking if we do 2,500 of those copies and 2,500 of Commissioner Ibarra's comparison, that would have something. But Commissioner Burrows, who rarely speaks, had his hand up, so I would love to give him the opportunity to talk.
The 2,500, is that Spanish included or?
I just said 2,500 in general, so if we want
So would it
to,
be 5,000? And if you're doing 25 and 25 or what?
so, I think so. I mean, or maybe we need to ask Jose, he's talking right now, but I don't know.
I don't think we need
Thank you, Tom.
2,500 in Spanish.
Maybe 1,000?
I was thinking 500, what? Yeah,
Let's do 1,000, because I just feel like that way, it's better to err on the side of caution.
Right.
Than not to have enough, and then any group feels slighted.
okay.
You get what I'm saying?
So,
You said 500.
Oh, hold on, so go ahead, Killian.
Yeah, I'm thinking about 500. The reason why I said it, because you're at 1,000, you're almost at half. Are we, half of what we're producing? So do we have that many Spanish population to deal with far as that type of literature?
Yeah, I think, well, we do, but are we going to do outreach? I think is Commissioner Killian's concern. Like, are we going to actively engage the Spanish-speaking community to do that? So that's the
should.
question for the commissioners, yes.
we should.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm saying you're concerned about us getting English-speaking people in the room, that we know how to engage. So I think Commissioner Killian is just saying, will that be a waste of resources if we're not going to actively reach out and go into these spaces? And if that's the case, then we also need to have an interpreter, because I don't know how many people up here speak Spanish, but mine is enough to be rude, but that's about it. I can cuss in Spanish. That's about it.
Great conversation we're having. It is super important that we do engage with the Hispanic, Latino community, as well as other communities that are in the minority and whatnot, that have that language barrier. Any way, shape, or form, we got to inform everybody in the community that this change needs to happen for the future of Pontiac.
Can we go back? I want to make sure, and Brian, I'm speaking for both of us, so jump in if I'm not. That at no point are we saying that that's not important. I think the question is how much outreach. I would say, and I don't know if this could even happen, if that is the pleasure of the commission, which I am completely okay with, then we need to work with the group who does this already. And I don't know how quickly our turnaround can be to reach out to groups like El Centro to be able to have conversations with them, because they already deal with a very large Spanish-speaking group who could just jump in and help us. So I don't know if that's the case, if we want to actively find people, but what I don't want to do is the half-ass do it, is to print the stuff, but nobody can even speak to the people about questions or concerns that they might have. So if we're going to print it and have that many available, then we need to have other resources available for people if they're going to ask questions. Commissioner Williams?
I hear what everybody's saying. I think what would probably be more appropriate is to get less copies of the whole charter made, but making sure that the mailer that we send out to every home has Spanish included. So that 4-pager or whatever we send in the mail, making sure it's 8 pages and the opposite side is in Spanish, I think probably would be a better use of our resources altogether. So that way, at least we know that there's probably 30% of the households in Pontiac that have Spanish-speaking people, and they would have an opportunity to at least engage on that level. And then if they want a copy, we can always make more copies if needed and if need be.
Payne?
I would agree with that. I just think it's important for us to mail out, everyone the same thing and in Spanish.
I think that's
So,
what yeah,
right.
that's what we're
Yeah,
saying.
that's what I was saying. I think that.
100%.
Well, one of the other questions that I had was, do we have, in our voting, do we have our voting broke up in different nationalities of, how many African Americans that are in our population? What does that consist of? We were saying we have 60-some thousand
So-
residents, so.
So
is
what
that?
I was going by
What's
is,
the breakdown of the
so the
population?
nationality of the voters, we don't necessarily have broken down. I'm pretty sure that there's some sophisticated technology that can kind of tell you. I was just going by the census data and the anecdotal data of living in the community for a number of years to know that we probably got about a 30% population of Spanish-speaking folks in the community, and then we look at the rest of the numbers. We know we're about 48% black, and then the rest is mixed in with white and other things. So I'm just saying that I know that there's a population, especially in pockets, that if we send out a mailer, but we don't have the demographic information broken down by race, Ms. Payne, as far as the voter rolls, because I still feel like we're missing half of the population, because everybody who now we have same-day voter registration. So anybody who decides to vote on the charter could vote on the charter technically, versus in the past where you had to be registered 40 days before the election and all these other barriers that we no longer have. So people can actually get out and vote. You get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't want to exclude people just based on their voting history.
Chair Ramsey,
Yes.
if I may, I am in agreement with Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Payne. I do believe there are other resources we can increase the volume of translating it to Spanish in regards of the charter. Not saying that we should make any, but maybe decrease. Start out with 250, and if needed more, we can print more. But I do, it would be, we do have more resources that we're able to pass out in person at the events. And so, for example, this is the before and after that was created that shows before, which would be the 1982 charter, and the 2024 revised proposal charter. It goes into each section. And so each section is its own square, if you will, just for organization-wise. And so this goes all the way down. This is supposed to reflect each article, and we've even added new articles in this new charter, in which that also reflects in there as well. Like I said, this is word for word from each charter. I figured it was easier to put it into one document rather than having the community be able to read two different documents, have two different big packets on their tables wherever they like to read at. It would just be too much work for them. So try to condense it into one document. It's going to look prettier, expecting it to be this weekend. What we build off of that, I spoke with Commissioner Williams earlier this year, in which one of the things he recommended was providing a top 10 key highlights. So in which this includes changes to the charter preamble, increased citizen involvement, creation of ethics and public integrity department, revamping our ethical standards.
Okay, I'm gonna appear rude, but we used to that. So what's the other paperwork? Because now we need to get not only the charter in Spanish, but we need to get these two documents in Spanish as well. What other documents do you have that you are proposing that we use so that we can make that actual in the budget?
That's a great question. I'll move on to this document. So this is a frequently asked questions about the charter. Mainly, they consist of the Office of Public Integrity. I'm not sure if this needs to be translated in Spanish. This would be more for.
If it's in English, it's gonna be in Spanish.
And so be it.
All right.
I tried to make it a 2-page summary, but there's so much information. This is unfortunately 8 pages. This would be 4 pages front and back. This shows a more summarized version of the before and after. So this like I said, this is not as extensive, more summarized. This is what happened this is what was in the 1982 charter, and this is now what has been proposed. I would say this is a more crucial one that needs to be translated for our communities in English and Spanish. So these are the 4 documents that have been proposed. And so, I mean, this could even be something that we take with Jason Bauer for him to take a look into to see if he could jazz it up, if you will. But these are the 4 documents that I believe are crucial in their own way. But let me know your thoughts.
So I think once we can get, everybody can review it, like see it, we can talk about which ones. I think all of them would be good to be used, but we need to stick with 2 of them to say this is what we're going to have in mass quantity, because 3 of the documents are very similar. It's like a summary. It's like comparing the old to the new and breaking it down. So I think once the commissioners have an opportunity to review this, we can decide which ones we want to do mass printing, and then some of them they're available on the website and the clerk has access to them. But I think based on what you're saying, with what Commissioner Williams said about the large fonts, our printing budget needs to be increased probably to 20,000, 25,000.
I think that should be the majority. So I think for allocation purposes, because we still have to meet with the printer to find out what's going to be printed and then come back to the next meeting with true cost of these things, I think that should be at least half of our budget at 30,000, because whatever we don't spend just goes back to the city general fund anyway. But I think we should allocate more for printing, because that is what we actually have created as a body, is a text. So I think the text should be as readily available to everybody as possible, and we should use the bulk of our resources to make that happen. That anybody who wants a charter, or at least wants one of these mailers, should get it and know about it and have it in English and in Spanish, and have it readily accessible.
All right, so is that a motion I'm hearing?
Hold
on, we can't, okay, go ahead.
Before we make a motion, I just would like to point out, if we're considering printing out a red line proposed 2024 revision, wouldn't we want to put more effort into this before and after that has the exact details of each charter and maybe red line?
We could do whatever you want. I'm just trying to figure out what the budget is going to be. So the actual product we can still debate, but we need to get a budget out of this meeting. So before I leave, because I'm not staying this whole meeting the way it's going, I need to get that done. So we're not even talking about what's inside of it. We're talking about there's going to be a need to get it printed out. How much money are we allocating? Because what I don't want to have happen is we keep the $10,000. We print and then we use all of that, and now we don't got no more money. So what Commissioner Williams is about to propose is a motion to allocate $30,000 to printing. And that's where we are, based on all the materials that we have been presented with tonight.
So I want to make a motion for postage and printing for $30,000.
It's printing and it's look like binding services. I can't really see. So that's one line item, and then postage is another one. So you're gonna have to separate those.
But I didn't. What?
Right. So what line item are we moving it from?
Okay. Bless y'all. I ain't okay.
See.
So you're taking me back to my old days, Miss Sheila. We spent some late nights doing this. We spent some late nights doing this. So This is my proposal. This is my proposal.
Okay, hold on. What? I don't order.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is my proposal. that we take $30,000 for printing and binding service. We take the 10,000 from we take the 10,000 that we already have in printing and binding, so that's the start. So we just need 20,000. So we're going to take the 15,000 from training, the 2,500 from public notice, and the 2,500 from office supplies. So that would be an additional 20,000 to go with the 10,000 we've already allocated in printing and binding services.
Can
Does
you
that make sense?
revisit that? Because the 25 for the office supplies, where you getting the flip chart paper and the stuff for the events he was talking about, if you
Okay.
just took that money?
I was just trying to make it clean because it added up, but I guess y'all want to be difficult. So we'll do it this way. We'll do it this way. I will amend my motion to take.
Suggest one thing.
You said what?
She said, can you be sure before you make another motion?
I was sure about the motion before, but my colleagues did not like that. So anyway, you
said community events, materials, poster boards. So I was just saying, where was that money coming from?
Bless-
10 and the 15.
bless-
You have 25.
Bless y'all. So we're going to do the 25. We're going to do the 15,000 from training expenses, and then we will take 5,000 of the 8,000, well, of the 7,000, the 7,801 from other professional services. So, did you get that, Madam Clerk?
Okay.
15,000. From training expenses, and then
5,000.
5,000 from other professional services, for a grand total of 20,000 additional to printing and printing and binding services, for a grand total of $30,000 in our budget. And I'm not making any more motions. So that is
Okay.
it.
All right, so there was a motion to increase the printing and binding services from 10,000 to 30,000. And that would mean keeping the 10,000 that's already there, moving 15,000 from trainings, and moving 5,000 from other professional services, which would then leave a balance of $3,801 there. All right, is there a second?
No, that's wrong, man.
What?
It's only 7,800.
Oh.
So that would be 2,800.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, 2,800. Is there a second for that? All right, it's been moved. It's been moved by Williams and seconded by Turpin. Discussion. Payne. Mike.
Do we know how many, has it been decided, I should say, how many meetings that we will be having? Are we having 7 different meetings, or are we gonna do
We in here
one
together.
big-
We haven't decided any of that.
Okay,
We haven't
because-
done the outreach discussions yet.
Okay, the reason I'm asking that is that I think that we could get a better calculation if we were to decide if we're gonna have 7 meetings, or if we're gonna have one big, large meeting. Because if we have 7 meetings, one for each district, then I'm calculating in my head here that we're gonna only need anywhere from 50 to 60 copies.
Well, I think the copies are for the meetings, but just for the general public, right? We have people who want to look at the entire charter and can't afford to print it out.
Right.
So we're going to, all the people at the Bowen Center who, when Commissioner Killian and Williams went there and they asked for a copy, we want to make sure we give copies. So that would be in addition to the district meetings, right? So there's a need, and what we don't want to do is to tell people we ran out, right? Because then that looks like we're not providing the materials for them. So So that's why that is that much. Any other discussion regarding the 30,000 for printing and binary services? Killian?
I just have one comment. I think it should be half of the budget, around 25. And that's all I'm gonna say. I thought we should have used the 10,000 because we don't know what other services we might need from these other places. So those two budgets should have just been combined and left it at 25.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
in regards to, may I turn my opportunity to speak to our clerk?
She can get it too. Come on, Sheila, what you got?
It just has to go in front of council. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, and we're prepared to present.
A resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so Commissioner Killian says we should take off 5,000, or is it 500?
I got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Through you to the clerk. So Ms. Sheila, it has to go because we're amending the budget or
Yeah.
Over 10,000?
No, just because we're amending the budget. Yeah, so we have to,
You're shifting.
yeah. Wasn't he the same one who said he did this job for like 30 years?
No. I'm saying it's two different phases. What I'm saying is, do we have to have our amendments to the budget before we have the invoices for services, Ms. Sheila? So I'm asking a procedural question. So they meet on Tuesday. Do we need to have the resolution to the council before then, or is it triggered after the services have been rendered? I'm just asking their procedures, because I know that if we get a quote, right, and it's over $10,000, that individual quote has to be approved by the council for that spending of the money. So I'm trying to figure out procedurally what we need to have done so we can get this money allocated by the 30th is what I'm trying to figure out.
I think it is. They need to approve the moving of the money, and once that happens, then we can start spending the money. Okay.
I'm glad y'all agree, but I'm just trying to, okay. Never mind.
You had this job for years. I don't know why you gotta ask questions. Commissioner Killian, are you stuck with the 5,000, or are you okay with it? Do we need to negotiate? Is this a hill?
Definitely, it's a here.
It's a hill. Okay, so let's have a conversation. How do people feel for the 25 versus the 30?
It's better to have it not needed than to need it and not have it.
Okay, well, the vote has been called. All right, we're gonna vote on 30. If it don't pass, then we can renegotiate.
There it is.
All right. No. Roll call?
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin. Yes. Williams.
Yes.
Ibarra.
Yes.
Burrows. Killian.
No.
Payne.
All right.
6 yeas, 1 nay.
So we are at 30,000 for the printing services. All right. Postage. I don't know what postage look like. Well, I mean, it's coming from the city. 64 cents a letter. Okay, so we're gonna say 60.64 times 22,000 times two. That's 28,160. So we need to move enough money to change this 10 to 28.
So that was my original, and y'all kept me to the line item. My original thing was we needed to find out how much the printing and the postage was
You didn't
together.
ask that. You didn't ask that. You said printing and postage, and I said it's two different line items, so we have to do it that way. At no point in time did you come back with, well, how much is printing? Stop doing that, Kermit.
Madam
We
Chair,
use the training money, so the training money is no longer available, and only $2,800 is left out of professional services.
We still have 12,000 in legal fees.
We still have 12,200 in legal fees. And, yeah, and we're keeping, so we can move, we have public notice too. Yes. Can you turn your mic on so people can hear the question?
There's a distinction between bulk mail, mailing, and stamped mailing?
That's why the clerk just told us it was 64 cents. So whatever they're sending out,
It's 64 cents for when you do bulk mail?
No, not bulk.
So how much does it cost to get a bulk mail thing?
The clerk office don't, I could find that out. I don't know how much is bulk mail. We
Is there a savings?
don't do bulk mail.
You really don't, so it must not be a savings then. Wow,
But the library does bulk mailing.
yeah. That's probably,
okay, so the city doesn't do bulk mailing. So right now we have, we don't, okay, so the city doesn't have a permit for bulk? Y'all don't use it. The clerk's office does not use it. So what the clerk's office goes by is the 64 cents per letter. So that goes back to 28,160. It is a lot. So we can do the postage is already 10,000, so we can subtract the 10,000, and then we can use the 12,200 from legal services. So then that would leave us with $5,960 that we need. We could use the 2801 from the other legal services. And then that's $3,159 we'd have to go through. And that's either public notices, which I don't know how much public notices would be and how much when we would have to use it. When do we use public notice? For meetings?
Yeah, but you get charged by word.
When will we have to do a public notice?
10 days before whatever you're trying to do.
So
If you want it like in the paper.
there's a possibility we gonna have to use it. We're $3,159 short. So I'm trying to figure out where that money coming from, and it can't come from office supplies if we're doing the events. So either we're gonna have to, I guess we can negotiate with I don't know if you can't negotiate with the postage. We're not gonna be able to do, yeah. Okay, so Payne and then Williams. Your mic, please.
Sorry. I'm just wondering, is there a reason that we can't just make certain copies for enough of the districts per meeting and not do a bulk mailing of the document itself, but in a postcard, send that out and say where a copy can be picked up at, and to say what website it's also on. And that should cut down on the mailing. I mean, this is funds that if it's not used, it can go back to, the city's budget. And I think just to mail out all of this, and how many pages is that again?
The revised charter is 58 pages. divide that
think
by
that's
2
what
for
we
B
were-
front and back.
I don't think that's what we were mailing, but it was like a newsletter that would be like 4 to 8 pages.
Correct.
So what you're saying is just do a postcard.
A postcard.
Okay, I'm gonna hand it to Williams because he's the one that motioned for that. So
So, yeah, I disagree with all of that, but I do want to make a friendly, I want to make a new motion that we use 22,200 for postage. We reduce printing and bindery services to 20,000 instead of 30,000. So then we can have a balance for community events that is currently not in there.
okay, so what I'm gonna focus on one thing. So
One motion at a time.
Yep.
Okay, so postage, we have $10,000. I would ask that the legal services that are left with the $12,200 be moved into postage. That's my first motion.
So the motion is for the remainder of legal services to go to the remainder of postage, having it go from 10,000 to 22,200.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, thank you, Ibarra. Thank you so much. All right, so it's been moved by Williams and second by Ibarra. Discussion. Killian and then Burrows.
Do we have to rescind the first motion?
We on one thing at a time. This is what we talk about right now.
I understand. Can I please finish? Do we have to rescind the first motion of the money we already moved? Because he's asking to change that. So do we have to rescind that first, or can we take this on?
We can take this on because
Okay.
it's two separate things.
That's what I said. Thank you.
Burrows.
My bad.
Stop asking questions. Don't make sense. Go ahead. Go ahead.
As far as other professional services and legal services. If we taking funds from those two spots, so we saying we won't need legal services anymore going forward, or?
I mean, the charter has been sent to the governor and has been approved, so that's what we primarily used our legal services for. Right now, all we're doing is like education and outreach. I don't think we're gonna need the attorney for education and outreach. Williams, you got something for that?
No, I agree with
Okay.
I agree with what you're saying. I'm saying we can use a lesser amount and put something in the legal services after we get done with this. But we got a motion.
But we have a motion on the floor. I'm trying to.
I'm saying for
Okay.
Burrows's point. So the Charter Commission is no longer going to exist after August, the second Tuesday in August. We won't exist. So whatever legal that comes from it won't be
Shouldn't be.
on us.
Yeah, based on
You
this.
get what I'm saying? Because we won't exist as a body. So this is, so we've done basically our last official action. The people will vote it up or down, right? And then if there's any challenges to the charter, it won't be on us, it'll be on the city because that'll be a city document. So, but I feel like if we had to ask the lawyer for something or whatever, or for clarification, or we wanted him to come to a meeting or something, we should put at least $1,000 or something.
And I'm
in the
saying
budget
we
for that.
can have that discussion, but we have a motion on the floor, so we need to.
I'm saying that so he will vote yes on the motion that we have on the floor.
Any other discussion on the motion on the floor? All right, roll call. And this motion is to add legal services. Okay. So maybe you need to rescind it, because if you want to keep money in it, right, based on what you told Norbert, then why
Okay.
take money out just to add it back in somewhere else?
Because I was going to take it from a different place, but we can do this that way, either way. So,
You rescind your motion?
yes, I rescind my motion.
Can you rescind your second, please?
I rescind my second, my support.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I make a motion that we move 10,000, 11,000 from legal services from the Charter Commission to postage, to make postage 21,000
Even. And leaving how much in legal services?
$1,200.
How do you feel about that, Commissioner Burrows?
I support.
Sounds good.
All right, so the new motion is to move $11,000. Was it 11,000?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what he said.
Okay. So we only leaving $1,000 in there?
$1,200.
Okay, yep. Okay, so we're moving 11,000 from legal services to postage, making that 21,000, and then 1,200 left in legal services. It's been motioned by Williams, supported by Ibarra. Discussion. Roll call. Oh, discussion? No? Roll call?
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Ramsey,
No.
Turpin.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 nay.
All right. So we have 2,100 for postage. We have
21,000.
21,000, thank you, I'm sorry. 21,000 for postage, 1,200 for legal services,
Okay.
2,801 for other professional services, and 30 for printing, and then 2,500 for office supplies.
Okay. I want to make a motion to reduce printing and binding services to 20,000 and putting the balance of the 10,000 into other professional services with parentheses, community outreach and events.
All right, can you say that one more time for me?
I want to make a motion to reduce printing and binding services by $10,000 to be added to other professional services with the parentheses, community outreach and events, which will bring the total of line item for other professional services to $10,208.01.
No, I thought it was $12,801. It was
Yes,
okay.
yeah, $12,801.
$12,801.
Yep, I was looking at the 8,000. Yep, 12,801.
All right, there's a motion to
No.
reduce printing from 30 to 20, and then move that extra 10 to other professional services, which would also be categorized under community outreach and events, for a total of $12,801. All right, it's been moved and supported, moved by Williams, supported by Killian. Discussion. Everybody feel good with this?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just a little lost. I just think you need to see what the cost of something, an estimated cost from printing, an estimated cost from all of these things that we're trying to do in order to come up with a figure that is going to be able to go before the council. I mean, just, I don't know.
I
just can't
understand,
guess
I
all the
understand that. Go
things.
ahead, Williams and then Burrows.
So I did contact some of the library board members about the cost of their printing. Each one they send out is about $4,000 to $5,000. And so we're going to be sending 2 mailers, and ours is probably going to be much thicker than what they send out. So I think that number for printing and postage should be accurate.
Well, theirs equal to about 4 pages,
Yeah, but ours is going to be in English and in Spanish,
and that's gonna be front to back.
and that's going to be 8 pages. And if they're spending $5,000, that means we're going to be spending $10,000. No, I'm just saying, just on the estimate.
Well, that would've been helpful before.
I just got the information through the chair. I just got the information as you were raising these questions, Commissioner Payne.
Burrows.
Well, yeah, it kind of answered it, but if we're gonna, I mean, somebody have to be in charge of like getting some bids or something. If we gotta get estimates, somebody gonna have to.
Are you volunteering?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. I was just asking. You said somebody has to.
Someone, that mean one of y'all.
I don't, what? What?
Maybe you.
What?
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Did I get a second?
No, there's a motion on the floor to move. There was no second. Oh, I'm sorry. Killian did second it. Yes, I'm sorry. Brian. I'm sorry. All right, roll call.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin.
Yes.
All right, 7 yeas.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Well, Kermit, you're in communication with the library right now. Are they using postage or are they using bulk mail?
They're using bulk. I just got a newsletter in my house today. They use the bulk mail label, but the bottom line is it's 50 cents for a regular stamp at this point. Printing has just got astronomically expensive, Dr.
More than
Turpin.
50 cents.
Everybody's saying 64. So like I said, I don't send letters. But anyway, yeah, so they use bulk. So they have the bulk stamp on their information.
There could be savings from bulk mail. We'll just have to research it.
Well, the thing is that, so just want to give everybody a point of clarity. We are allocating money to these line items. The final approval of whatever we are spending will go to the council anyway as part of the proposal. So this will come back to you. The problem that we have is the end of the fiscal year is June 30th. If we don't allocate this money before June 30th, it all goes away. So there is zero to do any of that. So that's why it's an urgency in order to actually put these things out. I know everybody would prefer to have how many billboards or whatever we were going to get if it costs for postage, if we wanted to do a mail wrap and all that other stuff for marketing purposes. But this is just actually saying that we want to be able to spend money in these categories, not the actual spending of the money in the category. So I just wanted to make that very clear, that just because you put $40,000 in a place doesn't mean we're spending $40,000 on mailers.
Okay. So just to clarify where we are, for supplies, we are still at $2,500. For postage, we are at 21. Can somebody add this up as I'm talking? So supplies, we're at $2,500. For postage, we're at 21,000. For legal services, we're at 1,200. For other professional services, we're at 12,801. For printing, we're at 20,000. For public notice, we're at 2,500, and training is 0.
That adds up.
That adds up?
That adds up.
All right. Yes. So that's where we are. This is the budget that we're going to submit to council. Does everybody feel comfortable with this? Williams?
I think we should have a vote on the overall budget, so that way there'll be no confusion.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on what you heard? I'll say it one more time. Supplies, 2,500. Postage, 21,000. Legal services, 1,200. Other professional services, which we're including community outreach and events, is 12,801. Printing is 20,000. Public notice is 2,500. All right, is there a motion to approve the budget as I just stated it?
I make a motion?
It's been moved by Ibarra and supported by Burrows. Any discussion? Did you hear me when you were out in the hallway?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you good with that? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
7 yeas.
All right, so the budget has been approved. So, Madam Deputy Clerk, we're gonna have to get together so we can. Oh, so we need to work with the clerk? Yes. Okay. Okay, we can do that, thank you. All right, outreach discussion.
Question, Madam Chair, before we move on. So we are making sure that this gets to council before printing, right?
So, the vice chair is going to reach out to the clerk because this needs to be presented as a what? A resolution so that they can approve the changes. Then we can start spending money. But
Okay.
the council has to
That's the
approve.
question I was
Yeah,
asking.
the council
Thank
has
you.
to approve it, and the vice chair will work with the clerk
Thank
to get it in front of them for Tuesday.
Thank you.
All right. I'm doing good. Okay. No, I'm not. Outreach discussion. I'm gonna pass this off. Let me get some clarification. So we have the outreach discussion, and then we have new meeting dates, and then we have marketing strategies. Wouldn't marketing strategies be very similar to outreach discussion? Okay, I didn't catch that. So we're just gonna have that, and you can include that in there if we need to. All right, go. Outreach is Killian and Ibarra, correct? All right, y'all ready to present? We in trouble. We in trouble. All right, go ahead.
So, I guess this brings up the discussion, hearing that we are wanting to print out the revised 2024 charter proposal. With the charter before and after that was created, it does pertain the information from the 1982 charter, which would be under the before section, and the revised 2024 charter in the after section. I believe this would be a great document to have rather than having two documents per person for people to review the before and after. The before and after would be right in front of the people's faces for them to review, to see what's different and what not. We could even go as far as redlining the after to show what the exact changes.
Okay, so thank you. So you are recommending that for our outreach activities, we use this instead of the charter or anything else? Like, this would be a better opportunity?
I would say so.
Okay. So for me, with outreach, my questions are, where are we doing it? Because Commissioner Payne has talked about going to each one of the council meetings, district meetings. So are we focused there? Are we doing any meeting that people ask us to come to? Are we going? So that's the first question, where? Then who? Who's going to be going to these meetings? And how are we deciding, or who gets to decide? Is it they ask Jose, so Jose go? Or is it they ask Jose and then Jose reaches out to me or Kermit to get approval? And then the third question is, what are we presenting? There's one thing we all need to be trained on so we can know it like the back of our hands, so we can answer any questions. So those are the three things that I'm looking for in this conversation. Like, we can decide where we're doing it. I would like to say, if somebody asks us to come to a meeting, we go. But that's a discussion item. And then who decides? Is it the people? If somebody comes to you, Commissioner Payne, because they go to church with you and they say, can you do this presentation? Are you obligated to do it? Do you bring it to me and then we figure it out? Is it the outreach committee that is doing all of the presentations? And then once again, are we doing the red line version of the charter with the large red font, or are we just doing what Commissioner Ibarra recommended, and it is using that as a way to streamline it and not have to go through the entire proposal, the entire charter?
All great questions. We'll try to break it down question by question. It's my belief that I guess my question is, who would work on the redlining if it was just the 2024 revised charter?
I think we already have that. We already have that, correct, clerk? I think it was what we sent the attorney. So the document we sent the attorney that sent it to the governor. And just know it is that entire thing. So it could be overwhelming. But also, if I believe if that's what people are asking for, we give it to them, because I don't want people to say we didn't to hide something. But I also think having one document as the go-to is important as well.
So I mean, the only weakness this document has is it doesn't have the exact redlining changes. I can try my best to get that sped up as fast as possible. So I will work on that to see if that's an option. Since that we would say that's a key factor when presenting the revised 2024 charter. So I'll work.
Are we saying that? Are we saying that it needs to be redlined, or is what we're looking at right now okay for this version? Commissioner Williams?
I think we can do both. I think for right now, we could run with what Jose has without the red line copy, because he breaks it down. And thank you, Commissioner Ybarra, for doing all that work to break down the changes that are there. I think there's very specific people that want to see the red line, and there's also very specific people that are actually going to read the charter. I think a lot of people just want to know what's in it and what's different. And so if they can look at a sheet of 8 pages, they can kind of skim through. And then if they want greater detail, we can have something there for them while we're waiting on it. So I think we should move toward getting the red line, but I think this shouldn't prohibit people from doing presentations until we get it, because we're still running out of time and people are going to be voting on the 27th, regardless if we get printing back or not.
Thank you. Burrows?
Probably should think about
Your mic, please.
maybe adding the dates, like the 1982, like instead of before and after, use 1982 and 2004,
Right.
2024.
I agree.
And maybe also, Commissioner Ibarra, there are some amendments there were some parts that were actually amended, and making sure that those, if we change something that was amended recently, we add those dates on there as well. So when the charter didn't get approved, the clerk and the council started approving a couple of ordinances here or there. So there are some amendments that have happened, and if it reflects here, we just need to reflect those dates as well. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
And are you referring to where the old charter has amended dates?
Yes.
Yes, I do believe those are included in there
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
Is it up to date? I'm not entirely sure. I went off of the COP Home Rule Charter 1982. I'm not sure how
That's on the website?
exact.
We
Yeah,
don't
I'm not
say
sure
it
how
was.
accurate it is in 2024 time, but everything that's in here is included in there. If I could have I guess a recent 1982 copy with the current amendments that are anything that's reflected in 2024 today, I could add those into that document, no problem.
Can we get that from the clerk's office, any amendments? Okay. Okay, so we gonna work on getting that to make sure that you have all the amendments.
Sweet. That would be cool. And I guess in regards to meeting times,
Okay, but where? Where are we doing it? Tell us where.
so is there any way that we can plan or at least have knowledge of events the week before that we can plan out for the week for those, and then just have the meeting for all 9 for those who can attend, who can't attend. Unfortunately, I'm in a position at work to where I need to show proof of the reasoning why I need to go to community events. So anything that solidifies having an official date, flyer, having a weekly calendar helps me in my favor to allow me to be more frequent at events. I guess that's just my request, just maybe having like a group conversation the Friday, getting ready for the next week. Just a standard, hey, is there anything going on next week? You know, send dates, that anything that's going on for the week. And so I told myself I would love to be a part of these events, and it would only help that I can get it at least organized a little bit to show validity for my work.
All right, thank you. Williams?
Yeah, no, I agree with Commissioner Ibarra. I guess we probably should agree to do all of the district meetings or not to do them. But I mean, I think we need to decide if we're going to do those first, because we know that each district has some form of meeting. And so at least if we can do that, that would help, to Jose's point, to know that there's a calendar of standing meetings that they have.
Okay, so let's make a motion. Can you make a motion?
Question.
Go ahead.
I guess I'm concerned, and I think, Madam Chair, you brought it up once before, having 2 documents, separate documents, is going to be confusing to residents. For myself, if I'm in a meeting, I want to see the document that was actually sent from Lansing with an approval. That's the document that I would want to see in a meeting. My question is that do we feel that the 2 documents, because like you had said before, when you have something else that isn't the document, then why are we coming up with 2 documents? You know, why are we trying to condense it when it's right there? I don't know. It's just a question.
So I guess my answer, and then I'll pass it to Commissioner Williams. I'm not going to read the whole thing. There are people out there that get overwhelmed by the whole document, and being able to have a document that shows the before and after does. There, and Commissioner Williams said it. There are some people who specifically want to see the charter that we sent to the governor, and they should have that. For the masses, we need to decide, we're going to talk about one document. They both have the same things in them. It just looks different. One of them is a spreadsheet that shows it. The other one is a book that you have to read line by line. So I think it has both of them. It has the same information. It is just, which one do we want to lead with? Because that's the one we're printing the most of, and we're all getting trained on. So I think that was the question, but the information is the same on both of them. Williams?
I concur with the chair. I just also want to note that people's attention span is not what it was in 1982. We live in a TikTok generation now. Everybody is getting their news within 5 or 10 minutes, where we used to watch hour-long programs. So I think one of the outreach tools we need to actually have is we need to have a video that talks about the charter that runs on our government station or our public access, that people who want to deep dive can kind of tune into to actually talk about. I think that would be good. But I also think we need to have general, just a Facebook ad with maybe Jose talking about the fact that these are the 10 major differences in the charter, so people can read that and easily digest it. A lot of the people we're going to be talking to at these community barbecues or whatever we're going to are just going to want to know what's different in the charter. Is it going to hurt me or is it going to help me? And that's going to be what they decide to vote yes or no on, is based on that point. But I think we need to decide. My original question was, we need to decide if we're going to do the district meetings and then later on the additional things that we need to do, because everybody has jobs or other responsibilities. So we just need to know if, as a charter commission, if this is something we want to do or not, or do we just want to have 4 meetings in the city and make some dates on when we're going to do that. We just need to decide what that looks like for outreach or meetings in general.
Killian?
It was to my understanding when we first got this, before everything came back, that we would go to all the district meetings and the neighborhood watch, the CDC meetings. We would attend those and do the presentation. I think we should stick with that. I thought I don't know who, I thought it was Ms. Commissioner Payne, who was supposed to come up, someone would have a list of the things that's going on, of the different district meetings, CDC meetings, and neighborhood watch meetings. I thought someone was going to bring that, but I think we should, as much as possible, attend at least the district meetings and those meetings as such in the neighborhood, and see who's available on the weekends. Because, like, again, we're going to have the same information. You know, all of us are not going to be able to make it. Some of us can make more than others, and we should be able to, you know, garner towards that. On the other part, as far as having the condensed version, means a lot, because, again, I come back with what y'all was saying as far as attention spans. They want to see, okay, what did I come from to where y'all trying to take me to? What is the major points? And that's why I was heavy on, man, get the top 10, actually the top 3, because at the Bowen Center, that was the first thing they was like, well, okay, well, what did y'all really change? And they wanted to know that. Now, once I handed them the whole charter, everybody tone changed, because they realized they had to go through 38, 40 pages. Everybody changed around. Now you're gonna say everybody, the majority. A few was like, all right, I'm gonna read it front and back. So for me, I think we target those that have that quick hit, the 10 top, what we did change, and like you say, the limited printing of the charter itself, what we change, available. But we should hit all of the district meetings and just make sure we market that we're going to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. So we went from all the district meetings to all the district meetings and the association meetings and the CDC meetings.
Subcommittee meetings also.
Subcommittee for what? The city council? Why are we going to the subcommittee meetings?
Well, they need to know what's in it so that they can, won't they have to approve that first or something? They don't?
No, it goes to
Just
the
goes
voters.
Straight to the voter.
Yeah. All right, so district meetings, association meetings, and CDC meetings. Are we,
What's the difference between a district meeting and a CDC?
I don't know, and I was like, I wanted to ask, but I was like, I wanna go home. I'm
I've been
So,
trying for years. Good
just for a
luck.
point of clarification, when the emergency manager came to the city and sent the community development block grant to the county, he also created an emergency manager order to eliminate the CDCs that were created by law. And so some districts stopped having CDC meetings, even though it was under a federal order to have them. So there's districts and then there's CDCs. So some of the district meetings are led by the council people. Some of the CDC meetings are led by individual community members and residents in that district.
So there's redundancy?
Sometimes and sometimes not. So some districts don't have active meetings, but they have active CDCs and vice versa. I think of District 1. So they've got an active neighborhood association. They've also got an active CDC meeting, and then they also have an active District 1 meeting. So they have all three with three different groups of people that you would meet if you went and talked to them. Some overlap, but that's what happens.
And we gonna talk to them too. We gonna talk to all of them. So right now, it is where all district meetings, association meetings, and CDC meetings. Planning what?
Planning commission,
What about it? I don't.
just a suggestion.
What's the suggestion, sir? Go to the planning meeting?
Go to the planning meeting.
Okay, why
and
would we do
discuss.
that?
I don't know. Just a suggestion from
I'm about to go home.
one of our visitors.
If we go, so that would go back to the subcommittee meetings that Commissioner Payne was talking about. If we go to one of those meetings, we would have to go to all of those meetings. If y'all want to add that on there, that's fine. As Commissioner Killian said, not everybody is going to be able to go to these meetings. And in real life, if we all 9 went to a meeting, it becomes one of our meetings, and we have to have a public notice, or we're in violation of the Open Meetings Act. So we're not trying to get all 9 or not even a quorum of us in one meeting anyway. So if we have the planning, if we have subcommittee, the people who are mentioning those, if y'all could go to those, that would be good. I don't have time in the day to go to those meetings, and I don't know if other commissioners would, specifically to appointed or elected bodies that are not, I mean, some of these people are residents, some of them are not, depending on what commission meeting, what meeting you're going to. So if we want to add that on, I'm okay with that. We can vote on it. And then when it's time to schedule who's going to be there, I would just hope that the people who mentioned it would be the ones stepping up to be able to go to these meetings. So do we want to add the subcommittee in the commission meetings? Do we want to add those? Is there?
I personally think, if you just limit it to the districts,
Okay.
combining the CDC and the district into one, I wouldn't be redundant with that. I try to get them to come together to one meeting so that we can do our presentation. We don't have time to be
I
fooling
need
around
some
with
help.
that.
So should we vote on
Politics.
each one individually? Because I tried to do it in,
Let's do it individually so
Okay.
we can just move through.
all right, so for outreach, we're gonna vote individually on where we're going. So is there a motion to add that we will attend all district meetings to do outreach on?
I make that motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Williams and supported by Killian that we would do outreach to boroughs, that we would do we would do outreach to all the district meetings. Is there discussion on just the district meetings? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra.
Yes.
7 yeas.
All right, is there a motion that we do outreach at association meetings?
Moved.
Support.
It's been moved by Williams, supported by Killian. Discussion.
Just, could you clarify association meetings?
Neighborhood associations, just in the name of the group. Neighborhood associations. We have multiple of them across the city.
Copy that?
And just for clarification, I'm the vice president of the CDC, and they don't always interlap. You have, and as you know, Pontiac is cliquish.
Yeah.
So some come to some meetings and some don't go to other people's meetings. So I think it's very important that we touch on as many people as possible in these other committees and respect their wishes.
Okay, so it's been a move in support. Roll call.
Commissioner Killian,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Turpin,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows.
Yeah.
6 yeas, 1 nay.
Did I say yes?
Are you?
It don't
You
even
said
matter.
yes.
Okay, well, because I would. I don't remember saying it. It's time to go home. All right. So, is there a motion that we do outreach at CDC meetings?
Well, I make a motion.
Is there
That was included in
nope, we
okay,
yeah,
all right, I got you.
Belong to 3 different.
because there were some people who had an issue with all of them. So I said we're gonna. So is there a second?
I second.
All right, it's been moved by, was it moved by Ibarra and seconded by Killian that we do outreach at CDC meetings. Discussion. Burrows.
Okay, I'm kind of confused. So there's a district meeting.
Yep.
There's a CDC, and there's an association.
Yes, those are 3 different groups. So all the council people have district meetings. There are neighborhood associations that, let's say it is Harrington Hills has an association, right? But that's not the CDC. So that's the association. And then there could be, some districts have a CDC, some of them don't. So there are some, like District 1, that has an actual CDC that is different than the district in the association meetings.
So what I'll ask later.
No, go
Like,
ahead
I'm
and
trying to
ask.
figure out, like, what's the difference between association and the CDC?
So the CDC was a formal body that the city had that the emergency manager took away. The neighborhood association is just, we in the neighborhood, we want to create an informal group, so we're going to get together and do it. So it could be the same people, as Commissioner Turpin and Killian have both explained the different parts of it. It can overlap, but Pontiac is cliquish, so you have some people who don't go to those meetings. And Commissioner Killian, who I don't want to speak for, so you can talk, thinks that we should go to the CDC meetings as well, because we need to reach out to everybody. And once again, these are just meetings that we're putting formally on our calendar. We can also decide, right, after this, that if somebody asks to go to a meeting, or if we find out about a meeting and reach out to them, we can get put on that agenda. We're going to have that discussion as well, but these are just the formal ones that we're going to be talking about. So this one is the CDC meeting. And was there a move? Ibarra, and the support. Yep, and then we had discussion. Okay.
Well, I'm a little bit confused also, because if a district, if it's 5 meetings in my district, and it's a District 1 or 5 or 2 or whatever district it is, to me, that is a district, and it all comes together when we come to presenting. Now, later on, you know, if there's somebody that want to do that, you know, then go ahead. But keeping it the 7 districts, and it just kind of, I mean, don't mostly everybody go to the senior place anyway, and they're going to get the same information? I don't get it. I mean,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Williams and then Killian.
So let me just say this. We're trying to get this charter passed. I will go anywhere I need to go to talk to any citizen I need to talk to in order to use the work that we have worked on for 3 years in order to get. When we ran, everybody came up here. The first meeting, I disagree with having closing comments. Everybody in their closing comments talked about how much they want to go to the citizens and make this a community support thing, and we want to do this. Now is the time for community support. So I hear that people have proclivities. If you only want to go to one meeting, that's fine. But if the citizens want us to come, I will come anywhere that my time allows me to come and talk about the merits of this charter. I believe in this charter. I think we should get it done. You can vote no if you don't want to go to more places, but I'm not going to limit it because they got 5 district meetings. That's not my problem. One of the things is if we actually pass this charter, it'll only be 6 districts you got to go to, and then I have one at-large person to work with. So I just want to be very clear that everybody who's sitting on this panel, with probably the exception of Dr. Turpin, said they was going to go everywhere and talk to all the citizens. So I don't want to put that. I don't want to put that in the way. So because he said he was already going to be busy, but everybody else said they was going to talk to everybody in America. And now it's time, and they want to retract.
I want to qualify that because my suggestion is that if you belong to a district, whether it's in a CDC or your district or whatever these things are, for our purposes, we're going to have them gather at the one meeting. You know, going to all these different meetings when you can go to just one meeting. I mean, do they not attend district meetings at all?
No,
they all got
you
to
have
go?
people who.
Even though you live in a certain
I ain't
district.
never been to a district meeting in District 4 since I lived
Okay,
over there.
but District 4 has meetings.
Yeah,
So that doesn't mean that you couldn't go to one.
but what the man
For the
is
purposes
saying,
of gaining information.
Commissioner Turpin, is that we need to go where the people are and not make them come to us.
So what the?
Say it, y'all. Let's just we're
You're not
going
make-
to
It's
the
not
people.
making any sense to me.
Well, just going to the people. If they want to have 5 different meetings, we want to go to the meetings. Like Commissioner Williams said, you can just vote no.
The city has divided itself up into districts, and you're saying that you may live in that district, but you're not going to go to these meetings over here. You're going to have your own meetings, and you bring the people that you want to your meetings.
And we gonna come and talk to y'all.
And so, like, if you're going to have the formally formed meeting district is how we govern ourselves. That's the foundation of the city, right?
No, the foundation of the city is the citizens.
That's what
And
I'm
wherever they're
saying. The
at,
citizens,
we need to be
in
there.
our charter, we have however many districts we've created.
Okay,
That's the foundation. We don't talk about all these other organizations that you're
but
talking
they're
about.
citizens also. And if I don't make that meeting,
Shouldn't they
don't
be-
make me a
shouldn't they be in
citizen
the charter
of Pontiac.
if that's the way it's going to be? But the charter is designed to have 5 districts, 7 districts, or whatever.
Right?
Madam Chair.
That's it. Period.
Okay, so how about this? How about
Okay.
this?
All this other stuff is like created by the people.
Madam Chair.
Okay.
Okay,
then
hold
now,
on, one second. Because we can have all these conversations because we need it, but we just gonna do it where everybody can be heard. I'm gonna go to Burroughs and then to Payne and then to Killian.
Okay.
How
I'm in the
often
meeting.
are the district meetings?
Once a month,
So,
if they happen, because District 1 did not have a meeting in May and might not, and will not be having a meeting in June.
so if district meetings is once a month, we have to go to CDC meetings. Like, we can't wait. We got to go where the people at seriously. Like, If it's once a month, yeah, that's too long.
Oh, well, thank
You only
you.
have
I mean-
until August.
I mean, okay, Payne, and then what? And then Killian, and then you.
Just for clarity, my statement is that I'm confused. And I just want it to be, because on one end, I'd heard that we can't go to all of these meetings. And then now I'm hearing that we need to go to all of these meetings.
No, what I said
So,
was we can't have
I
all
just
9 of us
want-
at any one meeting because it creates an issue with the Open Meetings Act.
Okay.
We can have 3 commissioners go to every single meeting in the city of Pontiac from now until the election day, and that's fine. So we can't all 9 be there, but if people want to go, we're just trying to decide what meetings are we putting on our calendar so the community will know if I want to hear about the charter, it's going to be at this meeting or that meeting. As we said before, there can be one-off meetings if we so choose to say we can attend those meetings, but we're just trying to see what meetings will be on the calendar for what we're doing. And we said yes to district meetings and yes to association meetings. Now we can either say yes or no to CDC meetings. Killian and then Ibarra.
If, again, camelbacking on what the Commissioner Williams said, if we vow to reach all people, that's every event that we can possibly vow to be at. All of us cannot be there. All of us have different sayings, different religions, different spiritualities, whatever it is. We have to get this passed, and you're going to have to reach out to all people. The CDC is designed to bring in some of your top leaders in that district, which is CDC 1, to be able to communicate to the other residents that we may not be able to reach. That was his whole sole purpose and part of being consoled by fires, no, committed to by where the community block grant money is going into, and then to help your council person fill that information out to let the community know how they feel. So if we're going to reach everybody, as we said we were going to do, we need to attend all meetings as much as possible. If you do not see that same thing, it's no problem, like we've been doing up here. Vote no.
Thank you. Ibarra.
I just would like to, I guess, clarify the maximum amount of people that can attend a public event without making it a quorum.
A commissioner.
Correct. It's four commissioners max per community event, right? I mean, that's, so if we, as long as we have 4 people at each meeting, but we're okay. Not all of the same 4 people have to go to the same events, of course. We can always mix it up in the different districts and whatnot. I would also like to clarify that these aren't meetings that we're creating. These are meetings that have already exist. We're just asking to be a part of those meetings to discuss what we've worked on in the charter. So in some cases, if you can't attend District 1's monthly meeting, there's always an opportunity to attend District 1 CDC meeting. So there are different options, there are different groups, but as many of the commissioners have explained today, we need to reach everybody so everybody can be educated on the revised charter. But yes, 4 is the max. 4 is the max that we can attend. As charters can be in the same public event without having it to make a public notice that it's going to be a commissioner meeting.
Okay. I call for the vote.
Yeah, one last word.
No, I call for the vote. Does that work?
That's how it works.
Madam Chair.
I rescind my call for the vote. Go ahead.
I was not suggesting that, like I was segregating these 2 groups. I was saying that we would, make it our mission to encourage them to attend the same meeting so that we can present this information. So it's not to disregard one group or the other. It's just to have, for the purposes of what we have to do in a very concentrated time period, the ability to bring the groups together for the presentation. And it may not be on their regular scheduled time, but somehow or other, the leadership of these groups need to come together, bring everybody in, and have the conversation.
Okay, Moses, I mean, if you want to talk to these people and bring them together, listen, I'd appreciate it. But we can't get, we can barely get us together, Commissioner Turpin. You trying to get community?
All right, now I call for the vote.
Not a man that called for the vote, so we about to vote.
Commissioner Killian,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin,
I vote no.
the CDC.
The CDC, do you want? I'm like, you better vote no.
Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 nay.
All right. So we will go to district meetings, association meetings, CDC meetings. Commissioner Payne, you said subcommittee. Do you want to put that on there too? No. All right, Commissioner Burrows, you asked for a planning commission. You want to put that on too? Okay. So we have where. These are the formal places that we're going to have on the calendar for the city of Pontiac for the charter revision that we're going to be at these meetings. Ibarra.
So, from my understanding that we're making these meetings mandatory, is there an opportunity for optional events to attend? More so like attending
Let's
the
talk
senior
about it.
centers?
Let's talk about it. So let's say a youth person came to you and said, hey, can you come to our youth group? Right? Are we okay with that? Are we okay with that? Williams.
So for the purpose of this meeting, I think we should lock that down, because I believe that we also, because we put a line item in the budget for actual community events, I think we should be hosting some things in regarding to the charter too, but I think people should think about what they actually want to do, and at our meeting on the 27th, then we can kind of go through and discuss what that looks like. I just want to be realistic with what we have to do as a charter commission in these next 2 meetings. So not only do we have to get the council to approve our budget changes, we have to come back with quotes on printing and what that looks like, and then have a general idea of what we're going to print, what we're going to mail, and who we're going to get to come up with the translation, all of the other stuff that comes with it. And then we have to set a community calendar of where we're going to go, how much we're going to spend on events before August. So I just want to put that in perspective as we're kind of nuancing these things. My general thought process is we should be able to go anywhere we request it, but we should also be able to turn it down if we're not available to go to these places.
Okay, so are we in agreement that if we are invited as a commissioner to attend a meeting to speak on it, if we have the availability, we would go?
Or if
Or bring it back to the group?
Exactly, yes,
Okay,
yes,
let's
yes.
just say if we have the ability to go, so we're good with that. If we don't have the ability to go, then where do we bring it, and then how is that decision made? And I think it should go to the outreach department, and then y'all to figure out who is able to attend the meeting, if anybody.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. So there's a move by Williams, supported by Killian, that if we are invited, if we can attend, we will say yes. We will let the outreach and education the committee know, right? So it's not no Kermit just going to these meetings. It is Kermit is going, but he's informing the committee that these things are happening. And if Kermit can't go, he's going to go to the committee and say, I can't go. Can y'all find somebody else to go? And if they cannot find any person to go, then who's responsible? Then Kermit is responsible for reaching back out to that person and saying we couldn't find anybody, or is
I can personally, I can be the one to reach
okay?
out.
So we
and-
just give you the information.
Yep.
Okay, so there we go. That's the process. If somebody invites us, if we can go, we go. We still let the committee know. If we can't go, we hand all the contact information to the committee, and then the committee will find somebody or communicate that they can't. There's been a move in support. Is there discussion? It was moved by Williams and supported by Killian. All right, discussion. All right, roll call.
Commissioner Payne? Ramsey?
Yes.
Turpin?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Ibarra?
Yes.
Burrows?
Yes.
Killian?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Okay, so hosting events. So are we ready to schedule all of the events we're hosting, or do we want to do research and come back on the meeting on the 27th and make that?
Do research.
Okay, so we're going to come back to hosting on the 27th, June 27th. Yes.
If I may.
Already. Go ahead.
Wouldn't it be more feasible? I don't know.
Throw it out there.
We'll do some research, but I would like the opportunity to maybe attend outdoor community events, to maybe possibly be a table at an event.
Like the Juneteenth stuff happening this weekend?
That
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, but will you have materials ready by then?
No.
Oh.
Soon, but just just in events like that, to be able to have a table.
So I make a motion. I make a motion that the outreach committee be able to table at any event that's there. Also, we have been invited as a whole to attend the Blues downtown that Meals on Wheels is having, and they said they would give the charter commission a tent because I just told them people didn't know about the charter and what was there. So if anybody's able to attend that, we will go through, I guess, Jose. But I make a motion that the outreach committee has the ability to do any kind of visibility events as possible.
Second.
It's been moved by Williams and supported by Killian to allow the outreach committee to make a decision to attend and table in events. Discussion.
With the support of all commissioners.
I don't.
That's fair.
It can be with an invitation for all commissioners. I don't want to say support because I can't be at everything, and I don't want to feel bad. So I'm just saying.
Who is chair of outreach? That's what I want to know.
I think is it Brian?
Right. Yep, Brian is.
The outreach
Okay.
is myself, Commissioner Burrows, yourself, and Jose.
Okay.
So you're a part of that.
I was a part of that.
Yes.
Okay, so you're the chair.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Burrows.
As far as the tables, it still has to be 4 or less.
Yes.
So just a point of clarification. The Open Meetings Act is binding on elected officials if they are convening the meeting or doing any deliberation. If you are invited to a place or there is just a public event, you don't have to, there's not a quorum. For example, State of the City address. You're invited, it's really the mayor's event. You're there. It does not create an obligation for you to actually post that you're going to be there. So there is not a problem with 5 of us being in a room. The problem is if there's any deliberation or anything that we will vote on as an outreach committee, but because the charter has already been established and there's not a regular meeting, 5 people could technically show up. But just to make it easy, you probably should just have 4 or less. But if 5 people are in the space, it's not a problem. I just want
Unless
to
y'all start talking about stuff that's inappropriate to talk about.
Well, that's anytime. So
But
that's
yeah.
even over the phone. But what I'm saying is the violation of the Open Meetings Act can't happen if it's somebody else's meeting. So if James McQueen invites us to a meeting and Tamika's there and Tamika says, I don't like what you did in the charter, Kermit. I think when we go to the next meeting, we should change it, X, Y, and Z. That doesn't violate the Open Meetings Act. It may be in poor taste, but it's not a violation of the Open Meetings Act just because we sat down together in a quorum. But people could allege that. So sometimes you just want to avoid the appearance of anything that is there. But technically by law, if 5 people got invited to talk about the charter at a specific event, it would not be a problem, as long as they're not colluding together to do something.
I don't even know what we was talking about at this point. Well,
Everybody, you said.
We was voting on tables. We was voting on
tables. Okay, so we were having discussion. It's time to go home, because you just said, Kermit, you said. All right, so it's been moved by Williams, supported by Killian. We had discussion. We're going to do roll call on allowing the outreach committee to table when they deem necessary. And the outreach committee is Payne, Ibarra, Killian, and Burrows. And you said you was a part, like you not no more? What happened?
Oh, I couldn't, never mind. I'll talk about it.
Okay, but you're still there, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
those people.
If-
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Turpin,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Payne.
Yes.
7 yeas.
Okay, so as for who, there will be, so the outreach committee will create a list of all the district meetings, the days and times, and then start to work on filling it in. So it'll be your responsibility to figure out who is going where. If we want to volunteer because we live in that district, that'll be fine. We should reach out to y'all, right, Brian? Correct. Jose? So that is how we'll decide who is going. And we are still going to be, and Ibarra will send out all of the documents so we can decide on the 27th meeting what we're going to be using. And once again, all of it is the same. The format is just different. So we just need to decide what format we're going to use and then get trained. All right. Anything else on outreach for right now? Payne.
Can I ask that outreach, that we stay for 2 minutes to decide on a meeting date and time?
Okay.
That's my best. Don't make after the meeting. All right, Ibarra.
So the 27th, so that would mean we have to withhold printing anything until the 27th?
I guess Williams.
We can print because there is $10,000 in our printing budget, right? Yeah. Well, you know, they don't even want to give us $10. But anyway, there's $10,000 that's already allocated, Jose. But that would change our amendment. So you would just have to get with the clerk if you're doing something. But nominal printing should not be a problem, because I feel like whatever you would print out just a table or whatever could qualify under office supplies.
Okay. I guess I'm just wondering if withholding the printing to confirm that the commission accepts the information that's on the documents, I would say.
The mass printing. We can print some of the stuff, but we won't do the mass printing until we know which document we're going to be mass giving out.
100%. Thank you.
All right, any other discussions for outreach?
Can we discuss a meeting time now
Meeting time for what?
for outreach?
Yeah, well, that's what Commissioner Payne was trying to do, and then people started looking down. I don't know.
Outreach committee? What does next week availability look like for you guys?
Monday or Tuesday of next week. Fine with me.
Monday, Tuesday, Monday? Monday's good. I like Monday. I like Monday, 6. Monday, I get out of work at 6, or I'll be out of work at 6. Yeah, I'll be out of work at 6. I'll be available at 6, I should say. It would be on Zoom, by the way. This would be a Zoom call. So okay, I like Monday. We'll go 6. We'll go 6:20. We'll go 6:20. So Monday at 6:20, we'll have an outreach meeting in which we'll discuss dates. We'll discuss anything important that we need for table. We'll also we can also brainstorm just different types of print shops that anybody recommends. Of course, we'll go through the original print shop, but as discussed, we just want to make sure we get quoted from any opportunities.
Can I ask, can y'all have, when y'all meeting, can y'all get the dates of all of the meetings together? Because one of the things is new meeting dates. Our meetings need to be education and outreach, right? So if y'all could give us, though, when y'all meet on Monday, to get all of those dates together on the 27th, then we can have those dates, and then we can know what our calendar will look like.
Understood. So we'll also be discussing the calendar for the days to come.
Any other discussion? So Commissioner Ibarra has it for 6:20 for the education and outreach meeting. It'll be via Zoom. He'll send out a Zoom link, and it'll be Payne, Ibarra, Killian, and Burrows, where y'all will be discussing all of the dates, the training, the outreach dates for the district meetings, the association meetings, the CDC meetings. You'll talk about, what else are you talking about?
Calendar, community events, what's needed in that. I guess
Tabling.
hosting. Yep, hosting our own events, tabling.
All right.
And add any other marketing material like
Yep.
cloths, pens, stickers, whatever.
Pens. I like swag. Still handing out my pens from this position. All right, so we have our next scheduled meeting for education and outreach, which will help us to determine items 9 and 10. All right, any discussion? All right, we're moving to closing comments. Payne. All right, Turpin. Ibarra.
Thank you, commissioners, for a wonderful meeting. Outreach, looking forward to our meeting on Monday. Really knock out any knots and twists that we have. Ironing any creases. Looking forward.
Thank you. Burrows.
Good night.
Killian.
Praise be to to Allah, honor to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to Miss Evelyn LaDuff. May we continue to work hard and continue to love the city and work very diligently in getting this process completed.
Thank you. Williams.
No comment.
Thank you. I am just going to say, one, I appreciate each one of you. I really do. We committed to not only revising the charter and updating it, we also committed to doing education and outreach and pushing this out to the residents. And I am committed to going wherever they are. If we can't speak to the charter, if we don't know what's in it or can't explain it to people, they're not going to vote yes on it. And we worked really hard to get to this point, and I would hate for it to go down in flames because we are not prepared or can't speak to it or are not going to where the people are to explain it to them. I would encourage the Education and Outreach Department to reach out to the president and pro tem to see if there could be a presentation for city council. I believe a lot of people watch this meeting, the city council meeting, and we can get information out that way. And I would just say wherever the people are, that's where we need to go. If we need to have a one-pager that has really simple words for people to understand, we need to do that, and do some lit drops and talk to people. But I'm like, we have given up a lot and sacrificed a lot for this, and I would hate for us to not finish this out because we just got so complacent. So I'm just saying, like, we're not done. This is where the marathon becomes a sprint, and we got to finish strong. So thank you all. We still have 2 months to go, but I believe we can do this. So thank you all and good night. Meeting is adjourned at 8:29.